Yinlin is finally back. She is easily one of the best sub-DPs in the game. Due to her high off-field damage and many other utilities. In this video, I will cover everything you need to know about Yinlin, including her kit and playstyle tips, talent priority, sequences, best weapons, echoes, teams, rotations, and more. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Starting with her kit. Yinlin's kit revolves around a mark called Punishment Mark. Let's see how she can apply this. For getting the Punishment Mark, Yinlin needs to apply Sinner's Mark. She applies this mark through her basic attacks, Resonance, Liberation, and Intro skill. This mark is removed when Yinlin exits the field. This Sinner's Mark gets converted to Punishment Mark when she hits the enemies with her Forte attack. So basically, use basic attack, Liberation, or Intro skill to apply Sinner's Mark, then evolve it to Punishment Mark with her Forte attack. The Punishment Mark is the core of her off-field damage. Hitting an enemy with the Punishment Mark will deal electro damage to all the enemies that are marked and can be triggered every second, which means even if you hit one enemy with the Punishment Mark, every enemy on the field with this mark applied will take damage. The total duration of this mark is 18 seconds, which is quite long. Her Resonance skill can be casted twice. On using her skill, Yinlin's basic attacks will deal additional damage called Electromagnetic Blast, up to 4 times, to all the enemies that has the Sinner's Mark. The cooldown of this skill is 12 seconds, which starts right from the first cast of her skill. The animation of this skill can be swap canceled. If you swap cancel the first part of the skill, you won't get to use the second part of the skill as it goes into cooldown. The second part can be swap canceled as well. Her Resonance Liberation is a big chunk of damage with big AoE and has an energy cost of 125 and 16 seconds cooldown. The huge AoE is extremely helpful in multi-target situations to apply the Sinner's Mark to multiple enemies. Now let's move on to her Forte circuit. Yinlin fills her Forte circuit bar with her normal attacks. Every part of her Resonance skill, which includes both the skill casts and the Electromagnetic Blast, and her Resonance Liberation. When the Forte circuit is filled, Yinlin can cast a special heavy attack, which has a very huge AoE and deals good damage. As I said earlier, it will replace the Sinner's Mark on the enemies with Punishment Mark. The Punishment Mark stays even when she is off-field. The animation of her Forte circuit heavy attack can be swap canceled. Yinlin's Intro skill just deals some damage and applies the Sinner's Mark. Yinlin's Outro skill gives 20% electro damage amplification and 25% Resonance Liberation damage amplification to the next character you switch into. This makes her an amazing pair with electro characters or characters that deal most of their damage from their Resonance Liberation. Yinlin's first inherent skill gives her 15% crit rate buff for 5 seconds after using her Resonance skill. The second inherent passive increases the damage of the second Resonance skill cast by 10% when hitting enemies with the Sinner's Mark. Additionally, it increases her attack by 10% for 4 seconds. Moving on to her talent priority, the Forte circuit takes the highest priority because most of her off-field damage comes from the Punishment Mark she applies, followed by her Liberation Resonance skill, then the basic attacks, and lastly, her Intro skill. Moving on to Yinlin's sequences, I will just go over them quickly. The first sequence is not that great and not worth spending your money or a strites on it. It's just a 5% boost. The second sequence is quite good. The Electromagnetic Blast hits from her Resonance skill restores additional 5 Forte circuit stacks and 5 Resonance energy. That is a total of 20 Forte stacks and 20 Resonance energy. This lets you shorten your rotation and reduce her energy requirements. The third sequence is a nice damage boost. It buffs the damage multipliers of her off-field attacks. The S4 gives team-wide 20% attack buff, which is quite nice, but not something you should specifically pull for. The S5 deals extra damage alongside her Liberation, which is decent, but not worth going for unless you are going for the S6. And the S6 is obviously the best one. This makes playing Yinlin as a main DPS or a Quickswap DPS much better. It basically deals nuke damage equal to 419% of Yinlin's attack up to 4 times after using her liberation. A very big upgrade. Usually for F2P or low spenders, I recommend going for the weapon instead of pulling for her sequences, as the weapon is a much bigger upgrade than the S1 and much cheaper than S2. It can be used on other characters as well. Moving on to Yinlin's echo sets and skills, just a quick reminder, if you are enjoying this video so far, do consider supporting my channel by liking this video and sharing it. Also make sure to subscribe for more Wuthering Waves content. Yinlin deals very high damage. Going for the Void Thunder set will help to maximize her damage. And for her echo skill, Tempest Mephis is the best one we currently have. Use this skill at the start of her rotation. You can swap cancel the second hit of this skill. If you don't have 4-piece Void Thunder, 4-piece Moonlit Clouds with the Impermanence Heron Echo skill is a good alternative, as it will buff your main DPS. If you like staring at Yinlin, I mean, who wouldn't, and want to use her as main on-field DPS, you can use the Lingering Tunes set on her, as long as you are not quick swapping. Now let's talk about Yinlin's energy requirements. Yinlin's liberation is a huge chunk of her damage, so having 100% uptime on it is quite important. Around 20 to 30% energy regen should be enough for her. For her echo stats, crit on the 4-cost echo. Ideally, try to aim for 60% plus crit rate and 100 to 140% plus crit damage. On 3-cost echo, double electro damage bonus is best. However, 1 electro and 1 attack percent piece on the 3-cost echo is only 5% behind given equal substats, and attack percent on 1-cost echo. You can also make a 4-4-1-1-1 echo cost pattern for Void Thunder set, as there are 2 boss echoes from this set, crit rate on 1 echo and crit damage on the other one, and attack percent on the 1-cost echoes. This is a worse option, but viable if you don't have any other choice. For substats, energy until required, followed by crit stats, attack percent, then comes resonance skill damage bonus, as her off-field damage is considered as skill damage, and flat attack. Resonance liberation damage bonus is decent. Moving on to her weapons, her signature weapon is obviously the best option and much better than her other options. It has crit rate as its secondary stat and gives damage bonus. Additionally, it gives 12% attack boost every time a resonance skill hits a target, which can be stacked twice. This is perfect for Yinlin, as she can cast her skill twice. And when the character's off-field, they get an additional 12% attack increase. Jeji's signature, Rime-Draped Sprouts, is the second best option, but is only around 6% better than the standard weapon option. Sadly, the huge basic attack damage is not useful on Yinlin, so the weapon only acts as a stat stick. The standard banner rectifier, Cosmic Ripples, provides a ton of attack percent. It provides energy regen, which is good. The Battle Pass weapon, Augment, is a great alternative. It gives crit rate and provides attack boost after casting Resonance Liberation. This weapon at R5 is very close to the Cosmic Ripples and is helpful to make up for lacking crit rate from echoes. The new gacha weapon, Fusion Accretion, is the next best option. It gives energy and attack percent. Jinzhou Keeper is a decent alternative, but is sadly another gacha weapon. For F2P weapons, we don't really have great options. The 3-star weapon R5 Rectifier of Night is the best F2P weapon for Yinlin's damage. Moving on to Yinlin's team comps. Yinlin, being a strong sub-DPS, is very flexible. She can fit in most of the teams. The 2 Electro DPS, Xiangli, Yao, and Calcharo, and Jinsi are best pairs with her. Xiangli, Yao, and Calcharo can fully utilize the outro buff of Yinlin, and Jinsi benefits from the coordinated attacks. You can also use her in a quick swap team with characters that have many swap cancel windows, like Xiangli, Havoc Rover, and Encore. These are a few of the best examples. You can use her with almost any DPS. And the last slot is Flex, usually used by a sustained support like Verena, Shorekeeper, or Baiji. Now let's move on to her rotation. Prioritize applying the punishment mark as quickly as possible. And in AoE situations, try to apply it on as many enemies as possible. For that, you will need access to your forte attack. The intro skill provides a huge chunk of it. It would be easier to demonstrate the rotation with a team example. First, I start filling my support's Concerto energy bar. When it is almost filled, I swap to Yinlin, use the Tempest Mephis Echo skill, and swap Cancel back to the Sustain support to fill their Concerto and use their Echo skill. Then intro to Yinlin, use her Liberation. For AoE situations, you may want to use the Liberation before using her Forte attack for applying mark to many enemies. Use the first part of her Resonance skill, followed by 4 basic attacks buffed by her skill. Then use the second part of the skill. Here I swap Cancel the second part of the skill, because I wanted to use Xiangli Yao's Echo skill, which is the Tempest Mephis, and swap Cancel the Echo skill by going back to Yinlin. This part can be skipped. By now, Yinlin's Forte circuit should be filled. Use the Forte attack and swap Cancel into your main DPS. The rotation can be shortened a bit if you do some dodge counters, as it gives Concerto energy. You might be confused whether to use Yinlin as a Quickswap DPS or off-field sub-DPS with Xiangli Yao and Calcharo. It totally depends on your personal preference on what playstyle suits you. As for my personal recommendation, I recommend a Quickswap playstyle with Calcharo, where you swap Cancel his Death Messenger attacks, as Calcharo is vulnerable at that moment and can take lethal damage. So Quickswap makes it safer to play him. And for Xiangli Yao, he can slow time with his attacks, so using him normally does not pose much threats and is safe. So I usually go with a normal main DPS playstyle with him. And that's all for this video. I hope it was helpful. Make sure to like and share the video and subscribe to my channel for more Wuthering Waves content. Thanks for watching.